We used artificial intelligence to design two expert minds. One argued for socialism and the other defended capitalism. We placed them face to face in a debate to fight for their economic beliefs. To keep things fair, a panel of 5 different A's acted as the judges. The debate begins now. Who should control money, the government or the people?
I believe the government should play a role in managing money, not take over everything, but guide it so it benefits all, not just the wealthy. In today's capitalist systems, the flow of money is largely decided by the rich and large corporations. They gain influence, grow richer, and ordinary people suffer. That isn't justice. Socialism says the government should step in to protect its citizens, put limits on greed, and support the vulnerable. For example, in Sweden people pay higher taxes but receive free healthcare, education, and unemployment support. The state uses money to improve lives. No one is terrified of medical bills or school fees. This doesn't mean people can't own businesses or money. Most socialist countries also have private enterprises. But the government ensures money is distributed fairly, so the poor are not abandoned, and the rich don't dominate. If only the wealthy control money, they make rules that benefit themselves. That's why we see homelessness, weak healthcare, and unequal schools. So yes, the government should help regulate money, ensuring fairness for all. That's real freedom.
I think individuals should always control their own money. The idea of government being a fair guardian is a pleasant dream, but it's far from reality. Governments are run by politicians. When you hand them financial control, they use it for favoritism and punishment. Money becomes a weapon of politics, not a tool for the people. That's unjust. Capitalism, however, keeps power in your hands. You earn it, you save it, you choose how to spend it. Take Herman Cain, for example. He began with nothing and built success because he was free to risk his own money through his own effort. He didn't wait for government aid. As Dave Ramsey says, capitalism gives the little guy the best chance. A plumber can turn into a millionaire because he directs his own money wisely. You mentioned Sweden, but their growth story is capitalist. Their boom began when they reduced government control and taxes in the 1990s. Their free market success fuels their social programs. Capitalism is the engine, socialism is the wagon attached. Giving your money to government managers isn't liberty. It's simply replacing a corporate boss with a political one. I choose people, I choose freedom.
You say people should have full control of money. That sounds good, but reality shows not everyone begins at the same level. Yes, some people like Herman Cain succeed, but for every one's success, millions remain stuck in poverty. Not due to laziness, but because the system is rigged. You're right, government isn't flawless. But the solution isn't abandoning it, it's improving it. Government isn't a monster, it's people uniting to solve collective problems. You mentioned Sweden again. Yes, they reformed taxes, but they never cut away their social benefits. They defended them because they worked. Swedes enjoy free healthcare, universities, clean neighborhoods, and low crime. That didn't come from CEOs. It came from citizens investing together through a fair government. Capitalism says, earn or you don't deserve. But what if you're born poor, sick, or in a broken family? Are you just doomed? Socialism says, we can do better. We ensure food, education, medical care, and safe housing for all, no matter their birth circumstances. That isn't stealing freedom, it's giving it back to everyone.
You're correct that not all people start equally, but the answer isn't placing the government at the finish line. You describe government as the people, but in practice it becomes bureaucrats deciding distribution. That isn't people power, it's official power, and it fosters dependence. A government allowance may look like help, but it often traps people into never reaching their full capacity. Capitalism is not built on luck, it's about opportunity. It offers a ladder. You may start low, but you have freedom to climb. Socialism offers a net, but sometimes that net feels so cozy people stop climbing at all. Think of Bianca Cunningham at Verizon. She faced unfairness and took action by organizing a union. She didn't sit waiting for a politician to fix it. She used her capitalist freedom to fight for better treatment. That's capitalism's essence, solving issues independently, not relying on handouts. You asked about people born poor or ill. The answer is compassion from free citizens, neighbors, charities, churches. That's genuine kindness, not forced redistribution. The choice is clear. A system that hands you just enough to survive or a system that lets you build greatness. I choose the latter, not the net.
Is it fair that some hold billions while others starve?
Absolutely not. How can one person own more than they can ever spend, while another can't buy bread? That picture is broken. I'm not saying everyone must be equal. But if one man owns 10 homes while others live on the streets and children sleep hungry, the system is sick. Billionaires don't earn alone, they get rich through the work of countless others: teachers, nurses, drivers, builders. Yet those workers are underpaid while the boss hoards the wealth. Capitalism says, it's your money, you earned it. But does a billionaire really work a billion times harder than a janitor? Impossible. Socialism asks, how do we create fairness? Not by dragging everyone down, but by ensuring no one starves while others bathe in luxury. Look at Norway or Sweden. They still have wealthy people, but they guarantee food, housing, schools, and hospitals for everyone. That's not punishing success, it's spreading it. No child should cry in hunger while someone else melts gold for fun. That isn't liberty. That's failure. And we can correct it.
You're asking the wrong question. The issue isn't fairness, it's solving hunger. Attacking wealth won't feed the poor. Wealth isn't a limited pie where one person's slice means less for another. Capitalism grows the pie. Billionaires don't just labor, they risk. Invent and create products millions want. Along the way, they generate jobs for drivers, managers, janitors, and many more. Stuart Varney himself said he made money, then built a tree farm that gave jobs in a poor area. That's how capitalism spreads prosperity. Socialism sees a rich person and says, take it. Capitalism looks and says, learn from it. Create value like they did. The goal isn't fewer rich, it's fewer poor. And the best method is more businesses, jobs, and opportunities. Punishing success drags everyone down. Freedom to innovate is what feeds nations.
Can the poor rise more easily in your system?
In socialism, yes. Because we eliminate the risks that trap poor people. In capitalism, being poor makes risk terrifying. You fear losing healthcare if you quit, you fear college costs, you fear a hospital bill. Fear keeps the poor poor. In socialism, basic needs are guaranteed: healthcare, education, childcare. That means the poor can dare to dream. They can study, start companies, or pursue passions without fear of collapse. Sweden is proof, they have more startups per capita than the US. Why? People can innovate without risking starvation. And yes, they have billionaires, more per capita than America. The difference? No one is left behind. Socialism doesn't kill ambition. It protects it, making sure every person has a fair start, not just the lucky. So yes, poor people climb faster under socialism, because they're not climbing alone.
No, capitalism gives the poor the strongest path upward. Capitalism is the ladder. Socialism is just a net. Nets catch you, but ladders let you rise. Herman Cain grew up poor in Georgia without a net, just determination. He worked, dreamed, and climbed. That's capitalism's story. Socialism may provide comfort, but sometimes too much comfort weakens drive. Capitalism fuels ambition, the fire to create, to build, to secure a better life. You mentioned Sweden's billionaires. They didn't come from welfare checks. They built companies like Spotify, pure capitalism, and Sweden encouraged them with low business taxes. Capitalism says, your future is in your hands. Socialism says, relax, we'll handle it. One breeds builders, the other breeds dependents. I believe every human has a builder inside, and capitalism unleashes it.
Who gets the money in capitalism? Everyone, or just the wealthy? Mostly the rich. That's the reality. In free markets, the wealthy own land, companies, and factories. Workers produce money, but it flows first to the owner. The boss takes the larger share, while the worker receives the scraps. That's how billionaires emerge, off the labor of millions. You've heard of the top 1%. That fraction owns over half of everything. Meanwhile, many juggle 2 jobs and still can't pay rent or buy medicine. Is that fairness? People say, work hard and you'll succeed. But in capitalism, effort doesn't guarantee wealth. Nurses and teachers work hard but don't earn millions. The rich child inherits wealth without trying. Socialism believes, if you contribute to society, society should support you in return. Free schools, free healthcare, living wages. Everyone lives decently. It's not about equal outcomes, it's about no one being abandoned while the rich climb higher.
capitalism, money flows to those who create the most value, and that benefits all. You say the rich get most, but how did they get there? Innovators like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs didn't steal. They built products millions wanted. They transformed lives and got rich in return. They didn't hoard. They built massive companies, created jobs, and sparked entire industries. That's capitalism's ripple effect. Think of it as a rising tide that lifts all boats. When inventors succeed, the economy expands for everyone. Hard work alone doesn't decide wealth. A teacher may work long hours, but an entrepreneur who builds a new learning app can impact millions. Capitalism rewards that scale of impact. It doesn't promise billionaires for all, but it promises anyone can try. And when people take that risk, society benefits.
You argue capitalism rewards value, but not all value is treated equally. A tech founder may invent an app, but the workers coding, repairing, and selling it make it real. Yet they take home a fraction while the founder pockets billions. That's unfair. You cite Bill Gates improving lives, true. But why should one man hold back $100 billion while those building his product live paycheck to paycheck? You say, a rising tide lifts boats, but some don't even own boats, they drown in poverty while the tide rises. Capitalism says wealth is for the lucky, the clever, or the already rich. Socialism says, no one starves, no one dies untreated, no one sleeps in the street. We're not against success. But success shouldn't mean one man hoards more than millions combined. Socialism ensures work is rewarded more equally. We raise everyone, not just the elite. Capitalism hoards money at the top. Socialism spreads it fairly. That's the change we need.
You miss the crucial factor, risk and choice. Workers accept a guaranteed paycheck. It's safe. They're paid whether the company thrives or struggles. The owner, however, risks everything: savings, home, reputation. If the business collapses, workers still got paid. The owner loses all. That's why the reward is greater. You say some don't have boats. Capitalism doesn't hand you a boat, it hands you the tools to build one. It says, here's your chance, go make it. Sharing wealth through taxes is simply government taking rewards by force. Nice idea until you realize it discourages creators. If most of your reward will be taken, why risk it all? Capitalism is ultimate choice. Workers pick their jobs. Customers pick their products. Creators who serve most earn most. That's fairness.
What if someone loses their job in your system?
In socialism, you're never abandoned. We believe safety is a right. If you're laid off, the government steps in immediately. You can still afford rent, food, and your family's needs. You don't collapse into panic. Unemployment pay gives you breathing space. Free training programs help you learn new skills. A factory worker can reskill into tech without debt. Healthcare never disappears because it's a right, not tied to a job. In capitalism, losing work can mean losing everything: income, health coverage, security. That's living in fear. We reject fear. We want stability. People are not machines, they get sick, businesses close, robots replace jobs. But none of this should push people into poverty. You get help and a second chance. That's real freedom, not just the freedom to earn, but freedom to live without constant fear.
In capitalism, losing a job is tough, but also a chance to grow. The system is built on resilience, not dependency. Let's be clear. Capitalist countries like the US still have unemployment benefits. But the aim isn't to keep you comfortable. It's to get you back into the workforce, creating your own income. Job loss in capitalism also means freedom. You're free to seek higher pay, better roles, or even launch your own business. Many companies began with someone fired who then became their own boss. In socialism, where government dominates employment, job loss leaves you dependent on bureaucrats. Your future depends on what an office clerk decides, not your ambition. True job security isn't welfare. It's a thriving economy full of businesses desperate for workers. Capitalism produces that. Yes, losing work is painful, but capitalism trusts you to rebuild stronger. It treats you like an adult, not a child needing endless protection.
You claim capitalism offers freedom after job loss. But freedom without support is just fear. Yes, capitalist safety nets exist, but they're often too weak, slow, or exclusive. Families can't pay bills after one missed paycheck. Is that freedom or survival mode? In socialism, we don't wait for collapse before acting. We offer full support immediately: rent, food, retraining, healthcare that never vanishes. You mention hustling being good, but what if someone is disabled, sick, pregnant, or simply exhausted? Should they be punished for needing rest? Not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Many just want steady lives, and they deserve that security. You also mischaracterize socialism. In modern systems like Sweden, most jobs are private and chosen freely. Losing work doesn't destroy people, they're protected. Capitalism pushes fear. It should mean a second chance. Socialism builds stability and respect. Job loss shouldn't ruin lives.
True security isn't a government check. It's knowing there are countless jobs waiting because the economy thrives. You call capitalism fear-based, I call it incentive-driven. The responsibility to provide for your family is humanity's strongest motivator. It drives skill, effort, and innovation. If government aid makes unemployment too easy, motivation fades. Why rush back if the state pays? That doesn't uplift people, it traps them in dependency. The greatest welfare is a good job. And for those truly unable to work, compassion comes from neighbors, charities, and faith groups. That's authentic kindness, not bureaucracy. Socialism hands you security provided by others. Capitalism empowers you to build your own permanent security. Yours to own, yours to keep.
Which system truly gives ordinary people more power?
I argue socialism does. Because real power means freedom from fear. Under socialism, your path isn't limited by family wealth or luck. Healthcare, education, and basic support are guaranteed. That allows real choices. Want to switch careers? No fear. Want to study again? No crushing debt. Want to start a company? You won't lose medical coverage. Capitalism says you're free, but only if you can afford it. If you're poor, your choices shrink to survival. Many people in capitalist nations work endless hours yet never advance. The wealthy often remain wealthy, while the poor stay poor. In socialist societies like Sweden, citizens live longer, happier, and report greater life control. Because they're not chained by bills, debt, or medical costs. Power isn't choosing products. Power is equal opportunity, no matter your birth or bank account. That's what socialism guarantees.
Capitalism hands ordinary people the ultimate power, control over their own lives. Socialism says government gives you power, safety nets, free programs, protection. But what the government gives, it can just as easily take back. That isn't your power, it's borrowed. True power is owning your choices. Victories and failures belong to you. In capitalism, you choose your career, your job, your purchases. Most importantly, you can create something entirely new. Figures like Dave Ramsey or Herman Cain weren't granted success by welfare. They seized it through risk and creativity. No official set their limits. No bureaucrat dictated their future. Socialism promises to shield you from failure. Capitalism offers the chance to succeed beyond imagination. The power to author your own destiny, to construct your own future, to be responsible for yourself. That is the highest form of power, and only capitalism delivers it.
In this debate, the capitalist side scored 378 with passionate arguments. But the socialist side came out slightly stronger, earning 385 and winning the debate. If you enjoyed this clash of ideas, make sure to like and subscribe. More incredible debates are coming soon.